Faith and Business.
Welcome back. This is another episode here of the Faith and Business Show I've been putting on here, my little art craft that I have for you guys, right? I've said it before, if I was a musician, I'd play music for you guys. If I could sing, I'd sing. If I could, do some crazy, acrobatic dance, I would show that on social media. This is my passion. This is what I like. I love faith. I love talking about God. I have, a relationship I'm building with him, and I'd like to spread it with other people. When you have something great, you want to spread it, right? So before we get going here, if you could like, subscribe, if you get value from this. If you don't, just go on with your day. But if you get some sort of value, you think this might resonate with somebody, it resonated with you, be sure at the end of this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It does help in the algorithm, get out to more people. And of course, with a message like this, we want to get this out to as many people as we can, right? All of us in our discipleship and spreading the word. What I want to talk to you today, specifically in this episode, is the concept of how when you come to God, when you start to embark on a relationship with Christ and coming to him, you will actually face more temptation. Now, if you do just like a quick Google or Chat GPT search or any AI, whatever it might be, and you just say, hey, show me some Bible verses that talk about this specific concept. If I come to God, I'm going to actually face more trials? What do you mean? I thought if I were to come to God, he should be making my burden light. He should be giving me the desires of my heart. He should be making all things, clear for me, making all paths straight. He should be making all things work together for my good. I thought if I just come to God, it just comes like that. But in fact, there are many verses where God actually talks about how when we come to relationship with the Lord, we will actually go through the fiery flame. We will go through the fiery test. We will go through the trials. We will go through tribulation. And where a lot of us who are immature in mindset, we're very young in mindset starting out in our relationship with God, we haven't yet developed the fortitude and the wisdom and the understanding to understand how God operates and what this relationship is really like, because it is a relationship and something that requires a 50-50 absolute involvement on a 100% level to make the relationship. But when we come to Christ, for a good reason, we will face more trials and tribulations. I remember when I first started really getting in depth with my faith, and then I felt like some people around me were starting to really catch on to their faith as well. It was, my family I was living with at the time, my cousins in college. And I remember that, one of my cousins was very much so coming to his relationship with Christ and being open. And I remember he would say like, man, I just feel like ever since I'm gaining relationship with Christ, I feel more temptation. I feel all of this stuff. I feel everything coming on to me as like I'm doing all these things and this happens and I want to do this and yet I know what I need to do, but it's hard for me to do it, right? We heard that in the Bible before too. I forget who said that, but like, I know what it is I need to do, but I do the opposite thing. And not that I feel like I'm in any high and mighty position of absolute freedom to where I never fall or succumb to this. But I will say that in my development of my relationship over the years and just pouring into this and asking God for wisdom and actually yearning for that in my relationship with him, I have discovered that it is actually for good reason why this happens when we do come to Christ. Anytime you say in the universe you want something, don't you always then get challenged with it right away? You say you want patience. Doesn't somebody cut you off in traffic that morning? You say you want to build a big business. Don't you get a call from a client or a customer that right away wants to pull their services out or something starts to pull back? Why? It's because the universe, God, it's not testing you in a way of like, ooh, I'm going to see if you fail this test or not. But it's testing your resolve. It's testing how serious you are about what you say you want. And I believe God, in a very righteous manner and in a very rightful manner, decides that when we come to him, he's not going to test us like, ooh, I want to see if this person's for real. But I believe what God does is says, let me see how much I can build up my disciple. Let me see what kind of disciple I'm going to have here. How much can I push Dominic? Not push him to go to his wits' ends, to want to then turn to the devil and to turn away from me, but can I push him to be a stronger man? And can I teach him and give him this wisdom over time for him to get better and better? Because here's the thing is, very immature and juvenile in thought, we will continuously stumble over the same thing nonstop, right? If you don't wake up consciously to the things that we're doing in life, we will continuously stumble over the same block, right? I like to liken it to like people who have the habit of smoking. No disrespect to people that do, but this is just a fact. Most times people who smoke cigarettes, it's an automatic process. You wake up, you go smoke a cigarette. You have dinner, you go smoke a cigarette. Having a beer, you go have a cigarette. At 12 noon, you're on break, you pop open a cigarette. You're doing it subconsciously. You're not even thinking about it. It's very juvenile thought. But when you snap out of it and you bring yourself to consciousness and you start thinking about the things that you're saying, you're doing, feeling, and thinking, all of these things start to come to you and you start to realize, whoa, maybe I am my own worst enemy. Maybe I'm the one that's limiting me with my thoughts, my words, my actions. And how I tie this back into what it is I'm talking about in this message today of trials and tribulations is when you do come to Christ, you might become very exposed. This is what people call like awakening, right? I know woke has kind of gotten like a crazy, stupid political jargon to it nowadays or whatever. But like woke to me back in the day, like, some years ago before all the political stuff used to mean like you were awakened, you were enlightened, your third eye was open, you were tapped in with Christ, you felt free, you felt the Spirit, that Holy Spirit descended upon you and you felt that wisdom. And in that moment, you might start to feel, and I certainly felt this, all this shame and this disgust and like, ooh, I'm kind of a nasty person. But over time, if you keep going to it and keep praying through it and persisting in it, and you persist in your relationship, I believe these challenges that come to us are no different than any challenge your character has to face in a video game before you meet the final boss. Look in any video game, any board game. There's always some sort of boss at every level you have to overcome. And these demons and these dragons that we come up against in our life that keep constantly pushing us down and blowing us over, these are the very things that we need to stop running from and turn towards and actually take the mask off of these demons and slay them and absolutely just eliminate them. Tony Robbins always says affirmations are, you go to the garden that's full with a ton of weeds and you're saying there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, right? I'm so rich, I'm so wealthy, I have so much money in the bank, but really there's nothing in the bank. Where incantations are you feeling like, I know God is in charge of my life. I feel that there is a presence in my life and I rise up into this energy and I claim hold of it. And I know that the things I go through are for good measure and God is using things for my good and he's lifting me up to be a better disciple of his. And you start using that energy in a different way. Same thing here. You can't go in your relationship with God. You can't go and start to realize all these issues, of the things you may have said in the past, things you may have done, and start to feel like, oh my God, God doesn't want me. He doesn't love me. I'm disgusting. I'm shameful. Let me tell you something. God chose in his discipleship people who were outcasted, people who were not the most popular, people who were popular but who were deceptive, people who were doing wrongful things. He brought those people in. All we have to do is just present to God who it is we are and just come to him. But understand that when we do come to him, we might have to go through these trials and tribulations and kind of this tough period where we're facing a lot of things about ourselves that we have to overcome. Shame, that's a good thing to overcome. Why? Nobody deserves to walk through their life in shame. If you have children, your children don't deserve for you to subconsciously project your shame onto them. It's up to us to overcome these things. And with Christ, we have mercy and forgiveness. And we have day one love from him that allows us the opportunity to feel redemption. Doesn't mean it's going to feel easy. Doesn't mean you're not going to have trials and tribulations. But just understand that if God was really trying to help you in your life, if God was really trying to help his child have the best life, don't you think he would provide challenges to help roughen up your edges? To help make sure, right? God is, we are the clay and he's the potter and he's got us on the wheel. And you think you're sitting up on, and your vase looks good. We think it's good. There's peace in our life, right? We're good. And then all of a sudden God comes and shows you something. He puts you back on the wheel and he starts, right, cranking that wheel, the potter's wheel. And he starts using his hands to shimmy it up and to soften up an edge and to figure something out. Because there's something else that came up in your life at these different levels that you have to overcome. There's always going to be trials and obstacles and tribulations and fires that we go through. But in our juvenile state of with Christ, we think that this is something that's against us. But as we grow and mature, and if you're in that state where you're thinking that, allow yourself to mature in your mindset of understanding that this is actually God's blessing to you. Proverbs, at the end of Proverbs 3, it says, the discipline of the Lord, my son, do not disdain. Do not disdain the Lord's reproof. Meaning, don't put away the discipline that God gives you. If he sends you a challenge, don't don't knock it down. Don't complain. Don't get bitter. Consider it a joy, like it says in James. Consider it a joy when you encounter various trials, because you know the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and perseverance makes perfect faith. It's making you a better refined disciple. If I have a son, right? My son, Tony. If I am in charge of raising this man for the first 18 years of his life, to be able to go down then after that to make the best decisions possible, and to be a man that can lead other people and take care of women and protect his family and this and that, I can't be soft on him. Do you think God would have to be soft on me to make me the man that I need to be in the positions of what it is he put in my heart? No. He's got to send me trials. I need tough things, right? I don't want my son to have a soft life. I want him to have not a difficult life, not something that, he's less than or off less than or whatever, but you don't need to be handed things. Not everything needs to work in your favor. Not every door needs to open for you. Not every obstacle needs to clear its way right away. Sometimes these things are used for good reason, to keep us humble, to keep our humility high. And it also is sometimes a way for God to let us know that he's still in charge. And before that ego really starts slipping away and we start giving towards it and thinking that our success is on us, God will humble us back down and say, hey, you're just a man. And you go through trials, and let me remind you who's going to help you get through those trials and who helped you get through them all the way. So I hope you guys took something from this message. Even as I'm speaking it out loud, it gives me the opportunity to even learn within myself. And I think of certain scenarios in my life where I could apply this more, right? And I think we all can. None of us are perfect. Even me up here on the camera, just because I'm in front of the camera saying this to you guys does not mean that I'm your guru or your pastor or anything, whatever, right? I'm just somebody here with a passion, just relaying my thoughts and what it is I feel in my heart. So I hope you got something from it today. Again, like my request in the beginning, smash the like button. If you got value from it, please share it with just one other person. You never know that effect of what it does. Stay tuned for the next episode, and it's been great spending time with you guys here today. Take care.
Faith and business